Oh, it's going to be a good one. Stop the rush. Laid for bait. See you later, guys. Oh my god. Why did I ever think that something would counter blot in this game? How silly am I? I can't even shoot him now. Brilliant. Hey guys, what's up? Lacrosse Prodigy here, and I'm back with another video on the Triple Frag YouTube channel. And as I'm sure loads of you are aware, the Club Wars 3 event is currently live in Frag Pro Shooter, and Club Wars is one of my favourite events in Frag, as it kind of gives you an incentive to run some of the cards which you don't normally run. They're not in the meta, and this got me thinking about which cards aren't in the meta right now, but actually counter the cards that are used the most. So the first character I want to talk about is Cybercop. Now, Cybercop is actually a pretty hard counter to the rush meta, which we've been in for pretty much all of Frag. Every time someone presses attack on one of the bunkers, as long as you've got one of his prisons in line with where the AI is going to run, he's actually incredibly effective. And I made a video a couple of weeks ago talking about how it's annoying that the AI kind of puts it down in places where you don't want them, and it means you can't really set it up. And I actually take that back. Having used him a bit more, it kind of occurred to me how the AI doesn't really use his special that much, especially when you've put one down yourself. And I don't know if they ever do. I'll be the first to admit that I'm not really that familiar with how Cybercop's AI uses his prisons. But look at here, for example. Just the way you can put that prison up just absolutely melts that Lucha there. I mean, no other character in the game can do that kind of damage in that kind of time, and it just makes him stand out. The second character for the Meta Busters video is going to be Ripping Finn. Now, as you can see there, I mean, what other character can do that? Just instantly free guys off the map straight away. You can deal with that rush so nicely, so easily, and he can just swing games purely by himself, and I've been having loads of fun running him this week. I will say he's probably the closest to being in the meta out of all of these cards. But I feel that's more because he is such a direct counter to the AI rush, and I don't think he's necessarily in the meta himself. You know, if you look through the top players in the world, if you look through their teams, he rarely features. I mean, there might be one or two, but in general, he's probably not quite in the meta. But I feel he's such a hard counter to the rush that I had to put him in this video. So if you haven't already, I would definitely recommend you guys go out and try Ripping Finn if you've got him unlocked. I feel he's a direct counter to not only the meta but also to the sort of high level teams, those decks with like the level 14s and stuff where they've just got a ridiculous amount of health, and you feel like you spend the whole game just trying to get headshots on them to finally kill them. On a similar note, I think Striker can fill a very similar position in your team. I would lean towards Ripping Finn a little bit more, just because the chance of you getting multiple targets off a map is a lot higher with Ripping Finn than it is Striker. The next card I want to talk about is Rolaf. So for me, Rolaf is maybe the most underrated card in Frag right now, and when you look at the stats, it completely makes sense. So my Rolaf is level 12, and that gives him 565 hit points, which goes up to 622, meaning 57 more health gained every single level. His damage per second on my card is 105 to 126, which would rise to 115 to 139 if I leveled him up, which is a substantial increase. So if he's so strong, why have I put him in Meta Busters? Well, mainly because he's strong against digital cards. So you might be thinking, well, so what does that mean? Well, I ran a few tests, and basically with Rolaf, every time I hit a digital character, it did 5 more damage every single hit, compared to any other type of character. And that's substantial because he's got 16 shots, and if he hits all of those shots, that's 80 more damage. And here's the thing, right, a lot of the stronger cards in the game right now are digital. So Cypher, Queen Unicorn, Archon, Hakiru, Hunter, Sageki-chan and Hades, some of the stronger cards in the game, they're all digital cards. So that means not only are his sort of regular stats good, but those stats actually look even better when you consider that you're going to be playing against those kind of digital cards in a lot of the games that you play. So why doesn't he get used if his stats are so good and he counters everything? Well, I think there's 2 reasons. I think the first is because his speed while shooting is one of the lowest in the game. It's 3.9 kilometers an hour. And then secondly, I think it's the opportunity cost. Is he worth running over Ronin or BB, who are 2 of the stronger cards in the game right now? I don't think you can run all 3. And I don't think Rolaf's as good at the initial rush compared to the other 2. And I think that lets him down, and is one of those kind of big reasons why he's not run as much as the other 2. If, however, we can find a way to stop the initial rush dominating the match, then I think we'll see the emergence of cards like Rolaf and sort of Archon and things like that. You know, the kind of cards which can really quite easily pick up 1 or 2 kills, do some good damage to the bunkers in that time and things like that. And you know, they're just not quite so good at the start, but from open play when it's just kind of like 2 or 3 cards alive, I think they're pretty hard to beat. So there's a few cards I didn't mention in this video, the likes of Hades, Wolfson, and I did mention Striker a little bit earlier, but I put him here as well, who are cards which I think everyone knows are pretty strong, but probably aren't quite in the meta. And I think especially Hades and Wolfson, they combat what happens quite nicely. I think they've got good damage, especially the way with Hades you can kind of get them all damaged and sort of tanking that health gradually. That's a really nice feature. And the last card I want to talk about though is the most notable exception to the list I've made is Mimi. Now I've seen Mimi being used incredibly effectively, the way they use the shield to make them pretty much unkillable. To be honest with you guys, I tried to get some clips of me using Mimi for this video, but I just couldn't get any good ones. I was pretty bad with her, but I have seen people using her really well and can give you a few pointers off that. Basically people use the shield to stop the initial rush, which is really effective, and then they also just use it all around the map to kind of push up. And kind of be safe whilst doing so, get a few easy frags. I've also seen people use the shields on the bunkers and the top tower itself just to stop the damage being done, and that buys you a little bit of time, and also it can get you a few easy frags again from behind the shield if you play it right. It is pretty hard to do though, but with some practice I'm sure I could get the hang of it, and I'm sure you guys could too. And like I said, I do see some people running Mimi extremely effectively. That just about wraps this video up then guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and let me know if I missed anyone out that you think is underrated, not in the meta, but is a really solid card. I'm sure there's a few. I'm sure people can use some of the other cards extremely effectively. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.